Hello and yes indeed, welcome to another Whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me for review number 163, part 4 and the final part, you'll be glad to hear, of my series of That Awkward Age. That Awkward Age, a series which is pretty much an enigma wrapped up in a mystery, dusted off with some confusion, I would suggest. So yes, we're looking at some awkward ages. This time it is the turn of Glenmorangie, 14-year-old, the Ruby Port one. If there's another one, I'm not sure. So, what are we looking at here? Well, technically, the Glenmorangie 14 sort of starts out life as the 10-year-old. So, it basically does the same as the 10. It gets its 10 years in ex-bourbon casks. But instead of then bottling it as the 10, this one continues to get another 4 years, actually to be precise, maturation in Ruby Port casks. That is what I'm led to believe. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Bottled at 46%. Once again, led to believe, non-chill filtered, no colour added. Colour thing, I wouldn't doubt that that's natural colour actually, because it's very natural looking. And I don't think Glenmorangie actually colour an awful lot, although they don't really make a big announcement. If you don't add colour, put it in the bottle. It's not chill filtered. Add it on the label. Please. People, please, it's easy. There's room there. You can do it. Sorry, small rant. So, let's get stuck in, shall we? Had I anything else to tell you? No, I don't think so. Cola. Chocolate. Something quite typical of Glenmorangie for me. Orange. It's fresh. It's clean. It's slightly minty. Actually, it is. It's a lovely mintiness, like a spearmint. Creamy fudge and dried apricot. Powdered sugar. Chocolate raisins. And to top all that, port. Port and chocolate. Port and chocolate and cola are very much three notes that I would suggest are about this. That cola note, definitely. Chocolate, definitely. The wininess of the port, yes, but not, because it's not, even 46%, because it's not very spirit forward. That spirit hides well in among all that. It's all about those nice creamy sweet notes. There's no sharpness because of a sharp bright spirit. Very, very good nose. I really like the nose in this. Nice clean, once again, sweet and sour arrival. More mint, more chocolate, more cola. Coats very well, but once again, it's so clean and fresh that it doesn't muddy the palate. It coats, it goes, but there's a lot of pepper. There's a good pepperiness with this to keep you interested the whole way through, and those cola, chocolate, slight winey notes run the whole way there as well. Peppery, ever so slightly leaning toward hot, ever so slightly. As with the nose, chocolate, fudge, apricot, cola, mint, all battle through that pepperiness and that heat. So the finish then is about that heat. That's a little bit where the issue with this lies for me. The sweetness tones down too quickly almost. So any flavour is fleeting in the finish. And you're left with that peppery heat. It's a small issue in a great whiskey, in my opinion. But an issue nonetheless, I suppose. I'm going to add a little water because I know when doing my tasting notes that little water helped. If this had failings, that finish, the heat, the pepperiness, a touch of water, and just a touch helps. It definitely does. It's brighter, slightly more malty, less claggy. So when I say less claggy, it seems to take out some of those chocolate notes. In the way that the creaminess of chocolate, milk chocolate, would leave your palate kind of claggy. It's that on the nose even, with the addition of water, cleans up, takes some of that clagginess out of it. And when you take that out, it just turns up the apricot, it turns up the orange, it turns up the cola, and there's even a slight herbaceous, there's a herbal note through it. Yes, that drop of water definitely helps this. Takes the heat out, leaves enough of the pepperiness there without it being hot anymore. Still clean. Still fresh. Sweet, but not overly. Delicious. I think it's just a delicious whiskey. It's the cola thing that runs through it, I think, the whole time. And in taking that heat out of the finish, out of the palate, I suppose, it makes the finish better because, yeah, definitely the memory of the sweetness now and the slight port notes hang around in the finish because that peppery heat is pulled back. So yeah, yep, very good. I like this very much. 50 to 60 pounds, 14-year-old, the Quinta Ruban, good price? Yeah, I think so. It's 14 years old, it's 46%. It's non-chill filtered and it's got no colour at it. So that's a good whiskey. And it's a tasty whiskey, in my opinion. It's the right price. And that little fly that just visited me there just popped in to say hello and see what I thought. So I'll just move on before I get visited by any other livestock. So if I like this, which I do, what would I recommend to you as an alternative? If you like this, then try this. Well, it's a bottle which I don't currently have in my collection. However, I did in the past. And it is, let's see if I can do this. It is this Tomatin 14 port cask. To all intents and purposes, a very, very similar whiskey from a distillery not a million miles away from Glenmorangie. Just south of N.A.S. there, the Tomatin distillery. Also bottled at 46%, also non-chill filtered, also no colour added. Whereas this is ruby port finish. This is my, what was I going to say there? Whereas this is ruby port finish, this is tawny port. That's what I was going to say there. So, but very similar. Memory. I'm only going by sort of palate memory and my memory here. I remember doing tasting notes on this at the time. And from memory, and I checked back over those tasting notes, quite similar whiskies. Of the two, which would I prefer? I don't really like to say, but I'm going to anyway. I prefer the Glenmorangie. I will review, I will get another bottle and review the Tomatin at some point, but still, and in the same price range as well. It's quite incredible how close these whiskies are. It's just a differentiating, slightly different ports. But still a good whiskey. So yes, if you've had Glenmorangie Quinta Ruban, the 14-year-old, and you would like to try something along those same lines and you're looking for a suggestion, I'm going to suggest Tomatin 14. So let's get rid of that. And we'll just leave it there and say, yes, Glenmorangie, it generally, as far as I can tell, does get a good name, this, the Quinta Ruban. And I can understand why. This is one of those whiskies, for me, open the bottle, let it get a little air, you know, open it, take a dram or two out of it, let it sit for a month or so. Let that air sit in there. Try it again, you'll find it a little softer, but more of that cola starts to come through. And the further you get down, and if you sit over this for a couple of days, you will very quickly drain it. This is why I take a couple of drams out of it and put it back to the back of my cabinet and hide it away from myself, because otherwise I would just drain it, buy another bottle, drain it, buy another bottle. But there's so many other whiskies I wish to buy. So there. So yes, good stuff. Let's leave it there, and I will say thank you as always for joining me. Always very much appreciate it. Thank you very, very much to my patrons. Should anyone wish to join that group, the details are in the video description below. Till the next time, my friends, here's your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.